Welcome back. My name is Faith Borkowski, and I am the founder of High Five Literacy and Academic Coaching. I'm here again with Lisa Sparkles of the Lisa Sparkles Ballroom and Latin Dance Studio. And we're going to talk about unlearning bad habits. So as a teacher, this has always been something that's very challenging. Before you can teach someone something new, you have to start telling them to forget about what they already knew. And that is so hard. It's always easier to teach someone fresh without having to break these bad habits. So I wanted to pose this question to Lisa. Could you please tell everyone about how to go about breaking bad habits or how that could impact a new student?
Well, it's like you said, the first thing is when I get students who come in who've never danced before, it's always a little bit easier to instruct those people because they have no preconceived notions of how they're supposed to move. Their body isn't already telling them, oh, this is how I'm supposed to do something. So it's very easy to start from the ground and build up. When I'm instructing students who've come in and either taken a few lessons, or the best one that I get is that, oh, I'm a very good dancer, my spouse is the one who can't dance and needs help. Mm-hmm. That's always the most challenging one because these people come in with this idea that they know what they're doing already, and very rarely do they actually know what they're doing. Yeah. And so telling that person that they have to not do what they think they know how to do is very challenging. So you never actually say to them, okay, don't do that. You just say, well, we're going to teach you something that maybe you don't already know. So we're just going to both start from the beginning. And I think how you approach it, especially when people think they know what they're doing, really matters as a teacher. And making sure you don't make that person feel bad for thinking that they know how to do that. And just saying, hey, what you know might be helpful, but why don't we start from the very beginning to help everybody learn together?
Well, I remember. Help. It's so interesting that you say that. My husband and I, when we first went to Lisa for dance lessons, one of the dances we learned was West Coast Swing.
Yeah.
And when Lisa said, well, show me what you already know, she looked and she said, well, I think we have to start at a point where we're breaking a bad habit. We were stepping back and doing something that really we should not have been doing. So instead of just starting fresh, she had to get us out of a bad habit. And I find this with children also.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to teach a 6-year-old how to read. They haven't had so many years of doing something incorrectly.
Yes.
So I always try to encourage people, if you think your child needs help, take them earlier for extra help. Make sure that they haven't spent years and years of practicing something incorrectly. Because as we've talked about, practice doesn't necessarily make perfect, but practice makes permanent. So I just wanted to throw that back to you, Lisa, your thoughts about that.
Well, I always used to say perfect practice makes perfect. But the idea of practice makes permanent, I thought was so interesting when you first said it to me for the first time, because it really is true. I won't even let my students practice together when they're first starting, because neither one knows their part well enough to help the other. So I forbid them from practicing together for a while, and then they get to a point where I start letting them practice, but I tell them, if something's going wrong, or you feel like something's not right, stop. Stop. Write it down, and then come in for your next lesson and let me help you. And the interesting thing now about the unlearning bad habits thing is people can now videotape the end of their lessons, which is something that we never had before, and it's a very cool thing because you can literally say, let's go to the videotape and see how we're supposed to do it, and sometimes that helps them. But some people aren't visual learners, and that's okay. But you have to tell them, please stop for a second, let's figure out where we're going, and if we're not sure, ask our teacher and do it the right way first.
And I just want to add one more point. I know that sometimes my husband would want to practice a dance step at home just because he wants to remember it. But as soon as we start, if I see that we're doing something incorrectly, I'll say, no, let's wait for our next lesson because I don't want to practice something incorrectly. So, and because I know from experience that it's better just to wait and get it right than to try to break a bad habit.
That's right. Once you have that habit, that's it. It's there
Yes.
forever.
Well, or at least it takes a long time to
get
break.
rid of.
So this concludes our section on breaking bad habits. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Faith.
Okay.